Information Systems as a director of enterprise systems, and then more recently as a development officer with Valley of the Sun United Way. I'm looking forward to your presentation.
Janine.
Hi, I'm Janine Decker, a retired human resources administrator, and I think I've been around 13 or 15 years. I don't know. Memory's gone. But we're glad you're with us today.
Wendy.
Hi, everybody. I hope you can hear me okay. I'm trying some new headphones. Oh, okay, perfect. Thank you, Tammy. I'm Wendy Castaneda, and at the moment, I am working as a recruiter at a private country club in North Scottsdale, having a lot of fun matching candidates to their dream jobs and careers. So I've been with SIPhx of Phoenix for the last 2 years. Thank you.
Lisa.
Morning, my name is Lisa Farrar. I have been a SIPhx for I think 8 years, 8 or 9, I'm not sure. And I am a retired mortgage banking executive and fitness studio owner.
Great. Joan.
Hi, Joan Burke, and I'm a lawyer. I represent telecommunications companies, and I've been a SIPhx for less than a year.
Great. Susan.
I'm Susan Bolton. I'm a judge on the United States District Court, the District of Arizona, and I've been a SIPhx for more than 40 years.
Oh, Susan might have the record.
I might have the record for here this afternoon, but I know that I don't have the record for the club.
Okay, Julie.
Hi, I'm Julie Bice. I've been a member since 2019. I am a retired financial services person. I've been in many different fields, primarily in mortgage as well as in municipal financing. And so welcome to our club today and look forward to hearing from you.
Great. Margie.
Hi, I'm Margie Burke. I am the Chief Finance and Operating Officer for the Desert Botanical Garden. I have been a SIPhx member since 2000 and currently serve as the Golden West Region Governor for SIPhx.
Great. Frankie.
Hi, I'm Frankie James. I have been a SIPhx for over, 25, maybe 28 years. I am retired and I previously worked in the healthcare industry.
I don't want to leave Maria off. Maria, are you with us?
I think she said she was driving.
Okay. Maria is my co-partner in crime. We're co-president-elects of SIPhx International Phoenix, and we host the program meeting. So super excited to be here. I have been a SIPhx for 8 years, and I am an underwriting manager at State Farm Insurance. I work with all of the new hires and the new teams coming into underwriting. But most important is Samantha Garcia Pinell. She's manager of mentor and volunteer services at Arouet Foundation. She's passionate Native Arizonan who loves giving back. She's a woman focused on leveraging her journey to educate and motivate others to embrace their unique abilities and celebrate being exactly who they are. Samantha has many years experience in the marketing and training fields, and she chooses to leverage to help her participants to rebrand themselves through training and support. Her passion lies in nonprofit to bring services to women who have been impacted by the criminal justice system to help open up doors and support and connect the community to these very special people. So Sam, we're super excited to have you today, and I'm going to turn the floor right over to you.
Thank you. Such an honor to be here. So Grant, my partner, is going to share a little bit about Arouet and who we are as an organization. Can you share? Okay, cool. So I want to, I'm just super honored to be here and share my story with you and share a little bit more about Arouet. So Grant, you want to take us through?
Yeah, this will take just a few minutes. I want to give plenty of space for Sam's story, but we like to, on these kinds of events, set up the context of the story you're about to hear. So we like to start with a little bit of kind of an activity here, but all of the women featured in this collage have something in common. Yes, they are women. Yes, they are beautiful, brilliant, amazing people, each and every one of them. Yes, they are dedicated members of their community. But to a one, every single woman in this collage has been to prison. And we like to start this presentation with this because we like to show that the face of incarceration isn't always the face that you think of. And we like to show these brilliant smiling faces ahead of our storytelling events. So to quickly go through who Arouet is, what we do, and why this is such an important issue. Arouet, we are a nonprofit that was founded in 2011. I just noticed that I have to update this number because we have actually served well over 1,500 people since we retooled all of our programs in 2017. Many of those women we start our programming inside Perryville Prison as part of the Second Chance Center, the governor's initiative with the Department of Economic Security and Corrections. Our 3-year recidivism rate, for those who start with us inside, it's actually less than 5%. So that 10% accounts for people who didn't quite have the same breadth of services that those who have started with us from the very beginning. And so we know that what we do has an impact, given that the average 3-year recidivism rate is almost 40% in Arizona. Why we do what we do, right? This is a runaway cost issue as much as it is a human rights issue. The cost you can see here, it has grown by leaps and bounds since 2000. The prison population itself has grown by 60% since the year 2000, which is more than double the rate of Arizona's population growth. So, one would assume as a state like ours grows in population, the prison population would grow roughly to match, but that isn't what we have found. And it has no correlation to an increase of violent crime rates. So like I mentioned previously, 39% of people released from prison in Arizona will return within 3 years. We have the 6th highest imprisonment rate in the United States, with a correction budget costing us well over 1.5 billion each year in the state budget. That says nothing of the billions of dollars of lost productivity, tax revenue, and all of the other associated costs that this puts on the state of Arizona, as well as the families and individuals impacted by criminal justice system. So to put the focus on women in particular, women in prison are often victims of some sort of crime themselves. 86% have reported physical and or sexual violence having been done to them. A vast majority of women in prison are put there for non-violent crimes. So it's usually things like drug use, drug possession, stolen property, or maybe intent to sell prohibited substances. Though women make up just 9% of Arizona's population, a full 66% of that population reports having a history of some sort of mental disorder, whether that's substance use or a diagnosed behavioral health psychosis like bipolar disorder, et cetera, et cetera. And then to add on, women who are incarcerated are mostly mothers, and of those mothers, more than half are the primary caregiver of their children. So you can see how quickly an incarcerated mother can then trickle down through all of society, adding more and more pressures because of an over-incarceration issue. So, here's the right slide. So here we have over 1,500 participants. And the way that we do what we do at Arouet is we call it a 4-phase system. It is, we prepare, so that's our program inside of Perryville Prison. We prepare them for release. We help them with changing their mindset. So there's a lot of pressures that you're going to face when you come home that you're returning to, right? So it's you that's going to have to be the different one. And then we help them with planning and resource guides to provide them a very strong foundation for when they step out that gate. We have guide, which is the next step. So it's from the gate on. That includes rides, community resources, connection to housing services, and then peer support with a mentor program. And Sam is actually the leader of that mentor program. So she has hands-on experience with almost all of the women that come through Arouet's programming. Then we move into our support phase, which is employment support. We help them with resumes. We help connect them with fair chance hiring organizations to give them the opportunity to make a living wage that will keep them in a safe, stable environment. Financial coaching, so we help them plan for a future. Many of our women are opening bank accounts for the first time in their lives, and we help them build credit scores and make incremental steps towards financial stability and independence. And then income support is the final piece of this support phase. Moving to engage, we do employer events. So we do job fairs. We've got one coming up later in April. We do public awareness events, much like this one, storytelling. We advocate to organizations and agencies to help them understand the immensity of the costs of incarceration and what sort of barriers people face. We do workshops. We partner with organizations that will help teach women those skills that we were talking about with financial stability and financial planning and give them access to those resources. And then we do community programs. So there's storytelling, there's becoming a mentor, whereas you might have been a mentee, you can turn around and become a mentor. Or we just do fun things like going to the Renaissance Festival, the Salt River for tubing, bowling alleys, roller skating. We try to build a sense of community because so often people feel like they can't be open and honest about who they are and where they've been when they have been impacted by the justice system. So we provide them a safe place where they can go and do that and have people who understand around them. Here is a little bit more in detail about our Opportunity Center and our mentorship programs. So you can see that we cover these critical parts of how people re-enter and how people stay home. And to go through it very quickly, basic needs covering housing and community resources. We do hygiene drives, and we also provide transportation, resume writing, interview coaching, job placement, access to training, and then career advancement. So you have a job and maybe you're ready for a new job. And then budgeting, financial literacy, debt advisory, credit building, and access to other sorts of loan packages like a better deal for car loans. And then in mentorship, which Sam is the creator and purveyor of, there's peer support, there's planning, there's wellness built into the program, job skill checks. One of the mentors, for instance, is teaching her mentee how to drive for the first time to get her license. And then there's also just bonding events where they can come together. And then there's also going to be a professional mentor part of the system. So if you have professional skills, that is definitely something we are looking for to provide our women their next level of support. So with all that said, and with Sam and her job kind of queued up, I'm going to turn it over to Sam. And I'm going to stop sharing so you can all see her beautiful face.
Thank you so much, Grant. All right. So first and foremost, thank you for allowing me the platform to come and share a little bit about me and my journey. I am not a unicorn, even though I claim to be. I think it's probably one of my spirit animals, but I am just one of many who have been impacted by the criminal justice system. So again, just thank you for allowing me to be here. So I I want to begin by giving you 3 words and then I'll tie them together at the end. So, disconnected, isolated, unworthy. So think about those things. I grew up in an extremely dysfunctional, unsafe environment. My parents divorced when I was very young, and I was left to live with my mom. My mom, unfortunately, was consumed by her addiction, which was alcoholism. I was the last child, so I'm the baby of all of the combined families. So as the 6th of one and the 4th of the other side, I don't know about the last kid. I was kind of left to my own devices and hopefully to be raised by my older siblings. Unfortunately, because of that, I was exposed to some very bad things. I suffered through physical abuse, sexual abuse by my brother. I was struggled. I was not given a lot of connective tissue and bonding that normally comes from, large families. When my mother's addiction got so far out of control that she was not able to take care of us as kids, my grandmother finally got to a point where she couldn't watch me live in that area any longer. So she basically helped me escape, where my dad came and took me because it was either go into Child Protective Services or go live with my father, which my dad came and took me. Which began a whole new journey. My dad, he was born in the 1920s, Hispanic man, and a little bit about that, that culture. He expected me as a, Hispanic woman to be very subdued, very quiet, and perfect. Right? Seen, not heard, make sure that everything had the appearances were good. So in school, if I was getting a B, why wasn't it an A? Why wasn't I, doing all the things perfectly? It was never where I could be just myself. And how can I be perfect when there was already so many broken things inside of me? So I was at a very huge loss as I transitioned into my teenage years, which brought on another aspect of me, which is when I went into my teenage years and I went through that shift into a woman, it also created a chemical imbalance. So I began struggling with my own issues, which quickly led me into dealing with my trauma of childhood with promiscuity and all of those things, but as well as the chemical imbalance, which brought me into major episodes of depression where I attempted suicide and all of those different things. And then the whole meantime, my poor father is just expecting me to just be perfect. And there's nothing perfect about me. I quickly transitioned into trying to seek my own treatment and therapy, which began with drugs. I unfortunately entered into the criminal justice system at the age of 16. And unfortunately, a lot of times within this criminal justice system. It's not about treat, especially back then, right? It wasn't about treatment. It wasn't about seeking to help an individual find their way out of it. So I began a very long, drawn out hamster wheel of in and out of jail, in and out of prison. I had my first child at 24. Unfortunately, within 8 months, I lost her to SIDS. And someone who is already a pretty bad shadow. I was pretty broken before, but I think that was like one of the major tipping points in my life where I didn't feel that I was worthy of anything. I couldn't do anything right. I couldn't even bring a child into this world my upbringing was that God took away my child, so I was not worthy of anything or anyone. I was able to, and within 30 days of losing my daughter, I was back in prison. So to tell you, I had no grief to therapy. I had nothing to help me put myself back together. I got out of prison, and within a couple of years, I had 2 more children, and I've had multiple children. I had 4 more after that, but unfortunately, I had a hard time. I had a hard time struggling through trying to find my way out of addiction, trying to deal with my with my behavioral health and mental health and all of those things that I had a hard time connecting with my children. A lot of thankfully I had family on the paternal side that was able to help me raise my children. But on this hamster wheel that I kept myself on leading up into my last journey into prison, the 18 months leading up to it, I lost my mom, my sister, who saved my life, that got us, that helped me escape. My stepdad, I lost a whole cadre of people, which were my support system in whatever variation that they were. And so I found myself in county jail, and the one person who had been my consistent support system, even though as much as he could, was my father. So I found myself sitting in county jail the final time. And he tells me, Mahita, he's like, I have nothing left. I have nothing left to give to you. Don't call me. Don't write. You're dead to me. I have lost my daughter. And he hung up the phone, and I never was able to speak with him again. So I am sitting in county jail the last time in 2009. And I was at that point. There was nothing left of Samantha there was never a version, but I didn't know who Samantha was. So going back to those 3 words that I gave you at the beginning, the disconnected, isolated, unworthy. That's all I had. So I had to make a choice at that moment. It was either completely give up and completely check out of life, or change. So thankfully, to a spicy little cellmate, she lit a fire under me, and she's like, Samantha, you are literally disconnected, and you get to redefine exactly who you are. You have 10 years at least to figure it out, right? You can come out of prison and become exactly who you want to be, because nobody else is there, right? And so I took that to heart. So when I got to Perryville prison, I I got a job at one of the best jobs that you can in there. I started learning really, really wonderful skills where it brings up that marketing and training aspect. I went to school. I started really taking on any kind of programming that I could to help me to become who I've always dreamed of being, right? So the first year it was about dismantling everything and defining who it is, who I wanted to be. The second 5 years, I started to give it back. So these paintings you see on the wall, I created an art program to give people some sort of grounding so that they could express themselves in new manners. And then right about when I was getting ready to come home, I was connected with Arouet through because Arouet used to be connected to another organization. And I went through their program, and it was an aha moment. And then when I had the pleasure to meet Allison for the first time. And it lit a fire, and it gave me an energy that I never thought that it gave me something, that passion of purpose that people talk about, right? It lit a fire under me. So when I came home in June of 2020, I decided to go back to school. So I wanted to finish up my degree. And so I chose the career in technical education. So that I would be able to support other women. About a year after I came home, I came to work for Arouet, and I was able to launch and create the peer mentorship program in the beginning. And today, what I find are a new set of words. And the new set of words are connection, community, thrive. So I was not able to do that by myself. I had connected with really strong, beautiful people that were mentors to me. I never even understood the concept of what a mentor is. I had no idea, because I obviously never had it leading up until coming home. But I was able to and through my mentors, be challenged and supported and driven to be the best version of myself. What you see me is sitting here in front of you, right? And as I go through and go forward, I just want to be able to perpetuate that forward to the other people who are coming home, because the women who are in there, I would say a good solid percentage of them just want to be supported and connected and worthy, right? We all want to find our way out of there, and have the platform to be the best version of ourselves. So I'm just, like I said, I'm just happy to be here and letting me share my journey with you. But yeah, I get to walk in May. Super cool things. As Grant mentioned in the beginning and on the slide that he didn't share, today I have passion of purpose. You can kind of see where I was when I was arrested. You can see how empty and what a shadow I was in the orange. Right when I came home, you can see the fire in my eye. I married the man of my dreams. I have connection to my children today. My two oldest, we've been able to connect and become friends, and they look to me. So you can see my my skydiving. That is something I was surprised by. that I was able to find as something unique and different where I can challenge myself and find freedom. Every time I go out of that plane, it's like a freedom moment and I get to celebrate it. And like I said, I just look to be able to perpetuate that forward for our community and our people. It doesn't have to be skydiving, even though I say thumbs up, but but it's just a great opportunity, right? And to be able to celebrate the people that we support. But that's me. Thanks, guys.
Samantha, thank you so much for sharing your story. I definitely wanted to open up an opportunity if there were any questions that the group had for Sam or even Grant as he shared about the program. What questions do you have? Okay, I saw Henrietta first and then Lee will go next.
Samantha, thank you very much for sharing it. It could not have been easy for you, but you have an amazing story, and what a wonderful ending that you have with marriage and jumping out of airplanes. I truly can't imagine. My question is, how long did it take, do you think, with your studies, once you decided I'm going back to school, I'm going to take classes? How long did that take? The reason I ask is Lee Wales and I will be talking to the Girls Leadership Academy next week, a short session. And and one of I think what we're trying to share with them is it takes time sometimes to find our way. How long from the time you started your studies to you finally to the job that you're doing now?
Yeah, it is a journey. I started my education while I was still in Perryville. So I started taking a lot of the Rio Salado classes where they have the actual CTE classes that are tracks that they provide in there to be able to secure my associates. So I had a pretty good start coming home, but I've been working on the rest of my bachelor's since 20. So yeah, it took me a minute to figure out what track I wanted to go. What did I want to be when I grow up? So I mean, if there's a piece that I would say not missing, I don't know if missing is the right word, but a gap is, how do I figure it out? Like I got lucky with the person who I talked to at the colleges to be able to be like, okay, this is what you like doing. This is where you want to, like, how do you make those decisions? And then how do you execute on them? Because going through the FAFSA, going through the money, securing all of that stuff is stressful. And you don't know what you don't know. And I didn't really know where to seek the answers either.
That's amazing. Thank you.
Hey, Lee. You're on mute, Lee. Still on mute.
Darn technology. Yeah, you're muted. There you go. Hi.
I'm sorry. Thank you for sharing your story. Very powerful. I'm not sure who to direct the question to. I'm sure there's a high demand for the program. And I'm curious, how do you determine who comes into the program? That's got to be really tough, I imagine.
That is a great question. I mean, Grant can back me up, but I'll take a swing. So right now, our program, we are connected through the Second Chance program. So anybody that comes into the Second Chance program is automatically connected to us because we run a 1-week program embedded within there. We also do by referral. So we do take in referrals. So a lot lot of people will reach out in that way. And then in addition to that, as since the beginning of 2023, we just barely launched on ROSA. So we kind of have like a few different funnels that people come in. But yeah, we're growing at a pretty quick clip.
Other questions? Janine?
I'm interested in knowing, Samantha, what kind of support, if any, you get from the Department of Corrections or from the parole people?
In what regard are you asking?
Well,
What support?
do they support your work? Do they work with you at all? Do they encourage, do they encourage parolees, for example, to stay involved with your programs, to get involved with your programs?
Well, and again, Grant or Allison can jump in here, but like I can speak directly to the mentorship program when they are dealing with their parole officers and everything else, and we're not unknown to the parole and probation departments. So they're definitely supportive if they hear about our women being connected to us. And I know that a few like CO3s and within Perryville will definitely back us and give it the suggestion. Allison raised her hand and she can fill in the blanks. We're actually building out a relationship pretty well with the Department of Corrections. But Allison, you want to jump in here?
I want to say, Sam, you did just such a beautiful job. Such a beautiful job. It has been such a huge gift watching you grow in this role, and to watch Sam just build out this whole mentorship program, and now to be working with the professional volunteers and bringing them into the fold. But just to say one thing, and I really appreciate all of you on the call. I'm looking at this and Sam and I were texting, and there's like a real powerhouse on this call. We are incredibly fortunate because we are embedded. We're one of the very few nonprofits that's embedded in the prison, in the Second Chance Center. So we are directly in the prison, and they choose people for the Second Chance Center, and all of those women go through our program. And then the prison is very supportive of encouraging people to join our program after they release. And so we have about 83% of the women that we work with inside reach out to us on their own and join our more comprehensive program. But if a woman's committed and she wants to get involved with us and she reaches out, as long as she's interested and takes the initiative, we're going to do whatever we can to work with any woman who's been involved in the justice system who wants to work with Arouet. Thank you.
Thank you.
Go ahead, Paula.
I'm wondering how you're.
How what?
Yes, I'm wondering how you're funded.
How you're funded. Paula, you're kind of cutting in and out, but I think you asked, how are you funded?
I can answer that if you'd like. First, I want to say I see someone from United Way. We initially were funded with some incredible funding from LISC, gave us some startup money, and actually United Way gave us some startup money, and United Way has continued to be a very big partner of ours. We also are a Bank of America neighborhood builder this year. We also just got a large grant from the NBA. We are funded by a lot of the banks. We're funded through Maricopa County, and we do receive state and some government funding. We're the SNAP-CAN provider. So we work with SNAP-CAN to help all of the women who are eligible for those services. And we also have some health care funding that supports our mentorship program. And we also have funding from a number of the local and a few national private foundations. And this year we hit $1 million, which we are incredibly proud of as a smaller reentry organization in a state that doesn't have a lot of headquarters. It really was a huge accomplishment for us to hit that $1 million this year. And we are just so grateful to everyone who supports us in this work.
Thank you.
So a couple of things that I think of, the programs that we put on through SIPhx. We have a Dream It Be It program where we work with the Girls Leadership Academy, really foundationally teaching them how to dream. And so, Sam, as you were telling your story, I was connecting that there's probably not been a lot of opportunity with some who are incarcerated to take that time to just sit and dream. Like, what is the possibilities? We start with that, and then we cover a whole year-long curriculum that talks about managing finances, applying for financial aid, and how to deal with, just everyday obstacles, bullying, harassment, basic things. I think there may be an opportunity for us to partner, whether it's us sharing some of these elements of our dream programs with those who are going through your group, or even pulling in some who are graduates of your group and getting them in front of our Girls Leadership Academy to share, some of your experiences, but also some things that you've learned along the way that can help them as they plan for their next steps. So Girls Leadership Academy is a group of high school students. We meet with the seniors. We've been looking at expanding to junior seniors. And yeah, there's probably some good benefits all around.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, we're always looking to grow, improve, and to be able to be in front of the high school population would be very unique. I mean, they could see it gets a human aspect. I know at a different speaking engagement where I spoke in front of some people. It's like they don't, a lot of the kids who are in high school, they may have been impacted by their parent, family member, somebody being either in jail or prison, and to hear the other side can be hugely impactful.
And the value add of the skills that you're learning through your programs and paying it forward, I think there's a self-worth tied to that too. Like if you're able to learn it, use it, but then also teach it to somebody else, they're just really good opportunities.
Agreed.
Good.
Yeah, I think there's multiple touch points where we could definitely pair up and figure some stuff out.
Good. Susan, did you have a question?
Yes, I did. At the beginning of Grant's presentation, he noted that over 66% of the incarcerated women have a diagnosed mental health disorder, including substance abuse disorder. And from my experience, drug use and addiction is a significant factor in what leads women in of the crimes that women commit and what leads and other crimes that are committed in connection with that addiction. But I didn't hear how Arouet is assisting women with their addiction and with relapse prevention.
Yeah, so a lot of, we do have many connections now, and we're continuously building them out with a lot of the healthcare plans, with the access plans, to be able to guide them into behavioral health and mental health and medication maintenance where as needed. In addition to that, my peer mentorship group also that is part of their training, is to be able to have those conversations. Some of my a large portion of my mentors are also connected to the they're able to be sponsors and all of that thing. And then we are also getting them trained up as a team with peer support certifications and additional trainings to be able to help with the treatment and therapy.
Thank you. Well, thank you again, Grant, sharing all of the stats. And yeah, I'd love it if you'd send me the PowerPoint and I can share it with the club. For those who aren't able to make it today, we've recorded the session and are able to share that with all of our members. And then Sam, wow, what a great and inspirational story. And I know it takes a lot of courage to share that with a group of women that you don't really know. So really appreciate you being vulnerable and sharing your experience with us.
Thank you. And such powerhouses too. I mean, I was like, wow.
Yes, thank you all for being here. We love doing these. So if any one of you would like an Arouet storytelling experience for a different group of women or another part of your life, your professional life, whatever the case may be, we're happy to do it. We're always looking forward to sharing stories like Sam's. I also have a few ways of getting involved with Arouet. I know that Irene talked a little bit earlier in the meeting about our upcoming event with our Fair Chance organization partner, Arouet Foundation. That's Once Upon a Second Chance, April 27th. I'm going to throw in the link here in a bit so you can buy your tickets now, or if you think you or your organization wants to do a sponsorship, we're constantly looking for ways of having fun and spreading the word on second chances. And then I'm also going to send over a document that's all of the ways to get involved with Arouet this year. There's volunteering, there's mentoring, and it tells you who to get connected with on each section. And then finally, just if maybe you're not able to volunteer, but maybe you're in a place to donate, I'll send over our monthly donor link as well for people to be able to send out. So we really, really appreciate it. And please let us know if there's anything we can do or any other ways we can plug in with everyone here, because that's the only way we're going to change this, is together as a community.
Thank you so much. Before we sign off, I'm going to ask the Seroptimists if you could hang on the call for just a few more minutes, because Lisa has some information she wants to share. But before we do that, Lee, I see your hand up.
Yeah, I have a quick question about the donations. Are you eligible for the Arizona
tax credit?
Oh, I see a lot.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
And all of the
Okay.
instructions to do any of that is on the website as well. So the link that I sent, it'll have a box next to it that says, did you know about the Arizona tax credit? And our tax ID and qualified charitable organization number are on that webpage as well, with a link to the form. I try to make it as easy as possible for everyone when they donate. The attachment is still uploading. Zoom takes a little bit of time, but the flyer with all of the ways to get involved with us, including our upcoming job fair and upcoming reentry simulation, are on there as well. So
well, stay tuned. We'll make sure to share with you some links to our Seroptimist site and our application information for some of our financial awards, our scholarships.
And I look forward
That would be
to future
great.
chats about the other pieces as well.
Yeah, definitely.
You, Tammy, and thanks all of Seroptimists. We really enjoyed being here and hope to stay in touch for sure.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Appreciate it. See you guys later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
it's almost done, I promise. It's looking
Okay.
like it's like 99%. There it goes. All right. Thank you so much. It's
Thank
wonderful to
you.
see everyone. Thank you. Have a good one.
Okay, Lisa, the floor is yours. You had some
Oh,
emergency
thank you.
business.
I'll make this very quick. One of the reasons I wanted to bring it up today is just because I'm not sure what procedurally what we should do. We had some very disappointing news this week. Cliff Bar has been acquired by Kraft Foods, formerly Kraft Foods. They have a new name now. And LunaFest is going to be likely discontinued for, well, for sure for the foreseeable future. The last opportunity for a LunaFest fundraiser is May of this year, May 31st of this year. And then they're taking an 18-month hiatus while they decide what they're going to do as an organization as it relates to supporting women's issues, things like that. So if you know anything about Cliff Bar, the organization, the owners, Kit Crawford is the wife, and she and her husband founded, I think it was either 20 or 30 years ago. It was a very closely held company, and they fought off acquisition efforts for years, but unfortunately, it is now owned by an international macaroni and cheese corporation. So I don't know what all that means, but we need to make a decision as a group, and maybe I need to do like a emergency quick board meeting or club meeting or whatever. But if we still want to do any type of LunaFest fundraiser, we have to do it by the 31st of May. And if we want to do that, that means we need to get started sooner rather than later. And it really can't wait till board meeting and business meeting in the month of April, because it won't really give us enough time likely to do that. So someone who's been around longer than me, jump in and tell me what should I reach out to the board and us have a quick discussion, and then reach out to the club? What procedures should I take?
Yeah, you should reach out to the board and request a special board meeting, and then they can request a special business meeting.
Okay, that's what I thought, but I just want to make sure, and I just wanted to throw it out there also. As you might imagine, I love LunaFest, so this is heartbreaking for me. Mary, I'm going to have that Christmas ornament for me forever to remember it by. So, okay, well, Julie and I talked about this last night. We do have some ideas and suggestions, so we'll get an email out to the board this afternoon and just take it from there.
Joan, you had a question?
Did you say when in May is it? Is it like the 1st of May or the 31st of May?
31st of May.
Oh,
Is the
good.
last day. That's the last day.
Is there
So we
any
can pick a,
cost? Is there any cost to the organization for participating from LunaFest?
Not if we do just the virtual event and we don't do any outside PR. So it's just it's Julie and I, if we're able to incorporate some sort of raffle with it, it won't be nearly as significant as we've done historically. Sponsorships might be a little bit more difficult since a lot of our sponsors just sponsored the last event. But there is an opportunity to make probably somewhere between $4,000 to $7,000 if we jump in and run with it, and that's 4 to 7 scholarships. So,
Yeah.
Mary.
I was just going to suggest you might, under the unusual circumstances, consider going back to the model that we used before. And maybe that's not feasible anymore post-COVID, but we had the event at the movie theater where you could buy food or they would serve the small buffet, and we had in-person raffles, bucket raffles, and we got pretty good turnout. The venue didn't cost much, and we made $4,000 or $5,000, and people enjoyed getting together to see the movies and have food and participate in the raffles. We didn't have big sponsorships. We didn't have the big splash that you guys have been able to accomplish, but it didn't take anywhere near the effort that you all have invested. So it's just something to consider as an intermediate measure, given the shortness of time.
That's a great suggestion, Mary. Thank you. Is that theater still open? Do you know?
I do not know. I know that the Roadhouse Theater is open. It's a similar type of venue, but I haven't.
I don't think that movie grill is open anymore. There's something there now, but I don't think it's the same.
I
And
do know-
theaters,
Oh, go ahead.
no, all I was gonna say is that theaters took such a huge gigantic hit during COVID. Many of them have gone out of business or just won't even do those kinds of events anymore because they just can't afford to. But we can certainly, you know, if it's possible to get something done in 60 days, do something like that.
I know that we did a private showing at Harkins, and we did it during COVID or short after the first round of vaccinations was available. And I suspect I could certainly do a quick look and let you know what I can find. But that's only if you think people would be interested. I'm not pushing it. I'm just saying it's an option to consider that wouldn't involve the huge efforts of chasing sponsors, because I think that's the hardest thing.
Right.
Especially when we've just had an event and we just had the wine event. So getting people to turn out and pay money in a sizable amount is potentially tricky.
Yeah, and it would be great to do the event that way. I think because I'm just trying to play devil's advocate here, not being negative, trying to get, we would be more reliant on getting people in there both for the raffle and for the ticket sales. So if we had a very low turnout, we would accomplish very little with the raffle either. So I don't know what the best answer. We thought it'd be easy to just do it quick and dirty and do it virtual. But certainly it's something that also wanted to get feedback to see, what people thought.
Well, and we might be able to, I don't know, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. We might be able to reverse engineer the marketing on this because it will be the last one. Because all of our people loved LunaFest so well, we could say, this is going away for a while and this is your last chance, and, use that sort of as a marketing tool. I think Wendy had her hand up at one point.
Yes.
I just wanted to say that Lisa and Julie, I know that Ariana and I were supposed to take it over, and I still am full in and can help if we do something
Oh, for
between
sure.
now and May.
Absolutely. We'll definitely be calling on you.
Okay, so Lisa, Julie, next steps, set a note to the board to see if we can get together quickly and make some decisions to make this happen.
And another thing to do is everybody put your thinking caps on for what to replace LunaFest with for fundraising. That's the big giant $60 million question out there.
Good deal. All right. You guys, thanks for showing support for Arouet. It was really
Oh
good.
my God, that woman was amazing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Have a great rest of your day.
Thanks, everyone.
Guys too.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks.